Hey guys, welcome back to Crafting Crazy Beautiful for another tutorial. Today we're doing a witch hat wreath with the witch hat wreath form from Dollar Tree. We're going to be using some 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh in black, and we're also going to be using two 6-inch rolls of deco mesh in the rainbow color from, I believe I got this from Joann's. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, and we're going to take this black deco mesh and we're actually going to wrap it around the wreath form. How we're going to do that, we're going to pinch this together. We're going to go ahead and connect the tip of the deco mesh to the wreath frame. And we're going to do that using zip ties, guys. Zip ties just have a much better hold than the chenille stem would have. And I want to make sure that while I'm tightening and wrapping everything around, that it doesn't slip. So now we're just going to go ahead and get that zip tie nice and tight on there and pull it nice and tight, okay? Now we're going to take the black deco mesh and we're going to wrap it around this wreath, as well as looping it through while wrapping it around to make that nice and firm and tight. Now, trying to do this without unraveling the deco mesh is going to be quite the feat, especially trying to get it through that really narrow part at the top. So I just unravel a bunch of it. Not all of it, because I might not need all of it, but I unravel a bunch just so it's easier for me to go ahead and pull that deco mesh through each section of this wreath form. So we're just going to go ahead and snip off that amount right here. And if we need more, we'll go ahead and add some more later on, which we do end up needing more, guys, by the way. Great part about me telling you guys this now while we're watching it is we definitely needed a little bit more, but we did not need that whole entire roll. So all we're going to do is just wrap this around nice and tight. In the beginning, we want to go ahead and loop it through often. So we're going to go ahead and pull that over and then pull it through. And then we're going to do it again, vice versa. We're going to pull it over and pull it through. This is just going to make sure that the top part of your hat is nice and smooth, unless you want it bulky. And if you want it bulky, you just do it a little looser, okay? You do what I'm doing, you just do it in a looser way. So now we're going to speed it up just a bit so that we can get to the nitty gritty. But basically what you see here is you see me, looping it through, and I'm kind of going side to side. So I'm going one side over, pull it through, then bring it back over, pull it through. And I'm pulling it nice and tight while I'm doing it because I want this particular witch hat to have the top part of the hat nice and tight. Now, this part can be a little time consuming. Yeah, of course, your deco mesh is probably going to snag just a little, as you can see it did for me. So now we're going to go ahead and just get through this a little faster now that we did those tighter portions. And we're going to run through that bottom portion of the wreath and get this done so that we can go ahead to get to our curls, which I call them rose petals sometimes too, but really they're like curl bundles. And they're pretty simple and easy to do, and we're actually about to get into them right about now. So with the rainbow deco mesh, I actually ended up doing 8 inches. So since I'm doing 8 inches, what I did to get those 8 inches was I took the deco mesh and wrapped it around my 8-inch little mat that I had, my little cutting mat. If you don't have an 8-inch mat, no problem. You can actually either cut it individually and then use a ruler. You can also use a ruler to size it to 8 inches and fold it in half back and forth and do it that way. You just need something to hold on to it. And then you'll be able to just cut each end. Or you can just measure out 8 inches each time and just cut it one by one and measure out the 8 inches. So we're going to go ahead and do that for both of the rolls. And then we'll go ahead and get started on the curls. To do the curls, we're going to take one of the 8-inch by 6-inch pieces from the deco mesh, and we're going to roll each one up one by one. So we're going to do bundles of 3. What you see right there in my hand is my little mini bow maker. I also got this off of Amazon, guys. I can link it in the description if they still have it. But basically, I use that to keep my curls in a curl. If you don't have one, you can also just take it and put it in between your two fingers and hold it like a pair of scissors. And you can actually hold each curl in your finger that way to keep them intact so they don't unravel. Now, the deco mesh already really wants to curl, as you can see. So you just kind of just go with the flow of it already wanting to curl. And you just roll them up and you get these nice little curls. And then you just go ahead and stack them on top of each other. I like to do it where there's two of one color. Since I'm doing three, so there's two on one end and then one on that end. So say if it's, for instance, these ends are orange and red and the other end's blue and purple. So blue and purple 2 times on one side with one red and orange, and then vice versa on the other side. Then we go ahead and once we have the bundles, we then go ahead and take a chenille stem and we put the chenille stem on the bundles and then we tighten it up. So you want to kind of get that chenille stem as tight as you can, push those curls up and pull it nice and tight. So we're going to do one more so that you can see it. We're going to roll each one by one, stack them on top of each other. Make sure that we have the opposite color facing the other end at least one time so that we have 2 of one color on one side and 1 of the other on that side, and vice versa. Make sure that chenille stem is nice and tight. We're going to do a quick close-up so that you can actually see me, trying to make sure I'm twisting that real good and tight. So just take a look right here. We're just going to twist it real good. Maybe 2 to 3 twists. It depends. If you're twisting it really tight, 2 should be absolutely fine. And then we're just going to go ahead and breeze through the rest of these really quick. And then we'll get to the next part of the wreath. Okay. So now we're on our last bunches of curls. The last bunch. And then we're going to go ahead and put them on the wreath frame. Now, I used 2 full rows of Joann's, I believe it was Joann's, rainbow 6-inch deco mesh. And this was 2 full rolls. If I was to use the Dollar Tree deco mesh, the 6 inches, I would have probably used 2 and 2 of each color, maybe 3 and 3. When I did another one that I did in purple and orange, I used 3 and 3. I didn't use the entire 3, but almost, pretty much. So we'll just go with it and say I used 3. So now we've already did this portion. We're done. Zip ties locked into place. Now we're going to position our ruffles, I call them ruffles, our curls. Now we have a little fraying. You can just cut that off, or you can use a torch and run your torch across it and then kind of get some of that fraying out. But make sure your torch is not too high so you don't burn your deco mesh. Especially if you're using Dollar Trees. Dollar Trees will burn really badly. So I'm going to go ahead and position this at the end. But rather than positioning it just with the chenille stem, I'm also going to secure it with the zip tie so it doesn't move from that spot, because I want this to be positioned here and this is where it lives. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there, and then we're going to go ahead and zip tie it also to the same spot. Okay. Zip tie. I hope you guys can get a good angle on that. So I'm just going to put a zip tie on it, just to make sure it stays there. So zip tie and then bring it back here. Really good. Right in that spot. Tighten it up real good. And then just kind of fluff out my curls. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off on the bottom from the zip tie. And now that is where that lives on the end right there. So now we're just going to position them. I like to do it staggered. I feel like when you do it staggered, you get a better fluff that way. So we're going to stagger. So we can start top or bottom, wherever you want to start, your preference. And then what you'll do is each one you put on, you'll put one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the top, one on the bottom. Still make sure they're close by, of course, but one on the top, one on the bottom. So we're going to start with the top. So I'm just going to put that on. So I'm going to open up my chenille stems. Open. Place it on the bar. Pull that down nice and tight. Pull it tight. Flip it over so you can see. And then I'm going to tighten this up. And I'm going to give it about maybe 2 to 3 good twists. You know, you determine how many good twists you want to give that, depending on how it feels to you. If it's a little too loose, twist it tighter. All right, so we got one on the top. Then we're going to put one on the bottom. And I'm just going to, again, open the chenilles up, put it on the bar, and then twist it tight. So I accidentally put it on the wrong bar. We're staggering. So let me just go ahead and switch it to the right bar. There we go. And then slide it on down. And then pull it tight. Tight twist. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. So once we're done, what's going to happen is it's going to be nice and fluffy. You're going to have a nice fluffy rim to your hat. And then, like I said, you're going to stagger everything. I typically don't flip it over every single time, but for the sake of this video, the parts I'm showing you, I'm going to flip it over. So we're going to put that on that bottom because the last one was on the top. We have the chenille stem. We're going to tighten that up, right? Nice and tight. Pull it nice and tight. Give it about 2 to 3 good twists. Or depending on how it feels for you. Maybe you need less. I made about, I think, 30. I should have counted, but I think I made 30. I don't make the same amount every time. It depends on the wreath, to be honest. It depends on the wreath. It depends on what I'm going for. It depends on the deco mesh and how it's looking. And that lets me know how I'm going to do it. Good thing to remember is remembering which one you put on last. So we got that one, this one, that one. Was leave it at the bottom. Now it's time for a top. So we're going to go ahead and finish putting these on here. And then once we're done putting the rest of our bundles on, we'll go ahead and start looking into what else do we want to decorate this hat with. Okay, so this part is done. We're gonna add a few more things to it. Definitely fluff it up to your liking so that it can look nice and full. You may have to do a little trimming as well, especially if you have a little fraying like I have going on here. So I'll be doing some trimming. Also, I like to run my torch across things. Only because I feel like it kind of seals it when there's some fraying. So I'll run my torch and my torch will kind of like seal in that piece I cut maybe. Or even just kind of like melt that fraying up a little bit. But you have to be really careful with the torch because you might run the risk of completely burning everything. Deco mesh is definitely flammable. But I think she came out gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So now that it's been fluffed out, I have been toying with what I want to use to decorate it. And one thing I'm noticing is that you can't really see the inner colors like that green. Like you can see the orange, but you're not getting a lot of that green. You're getting the purple, but you're not really getting the, yellow, So I figure, all right, what we'll do is we'll take this bright neon green and just kind of put little chunks of it in different places. I toyed with it, and I think I kind of like just like putting little pieces in there. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can tie it off and then put a zip tie on it and put it on with a zip tie. You can take a chenille. I would use a much smaller piece though. Take a chenille and twist that on there, right? And then you would find where you want to go. So let's just say I want it right here. I will go ahead and open up that space and put it in there. Now, Once you do that, you have a couple different options. You can choose to continue to just kind of like go to different places and then just like tack it down. So say for instance, from here, I decided I wanted to go over here and I wanted to go over there and I wanted to go over there. You can do it like that. I, however, am going to cut mine so that I can put mine in staggered places. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors. I'm trying to get you guys a good angle so you can see it really good. I want to make sure that you're not seeing too much of the green neon. The green neon probably wasn't the best color to use for the chenille, but no worries. It's going to give it some character. So this cut that I'm about to make, I'm actually going to make it long and leave it like that. So there's pieces sticking out. I actually like that a lot. And then I'm going to go ahead and make another one. And I'm going to continue with the chenille stems because we're going with the lime green. So I'm going to continue and then just find different places that I want this to go. And then remember, I'm going to, once I go ahead and tack that down, I'm going to cut this and let it stick out in different places. I like that a lot. So we're going to go ahead and just do another one, another quick placement for the video. And then we're going to speed on through. Okay, guys, so I am done adding the little loops and everything, and I feel like I want to add more. I'm sure some of you are thinking, don't add anything else. It's good the way it is. But I have a problem, and I just want to keep going. So we added the mesh tubes, and now I got the glue gun going. And I'm just going to add just a few of these little dots, you know. I would have more, but I let the kids craft and I have nothing left. They took it all. There's nothing left for me. So we're going to use what we have and just embellish the hat portion, the top part of the hat. So this is hot enough now with the glue, but I have a couple additional glue sticks for when I need them. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in here. I suggest when using a when you're using the glue gun that you make sure you have like something to protect your poor little fingers because they're going to get burnt. I should be protecting my fingers right now. I am absolutely not. And they're going to get burnt because I get burnt. So I'm trying not to put too much glue. But you just want to, you know, embellish it how you want to embellish it. This is just what I want to do. I really, really just wanted to put these colorful little foam balls on them. I'm sure it would have been great without it. And then I have these cute little clip-on bats that I got from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to add in like different spots here and there. I think it's really cute. So I'm going to add one, and then it has the clips. So whoever has it can just, if they want it here, they want it there, they can put it wherever they want. So we're just going to go ahead and add these little embellishments. Nothing too crazy. Just a few. Wrap up that glue. Be careful with your glue guns, guys. Definitely want to get some blues in there. I didn't have any more red left, but I thought the pink was a really nice touch. So we went with pink. Just adding these little small pieces here and there. Little small ones. Boop. Let's see. We already got a green up there, so let's go with an orange. And I just burnt my finger. Oh my gosh. See me? I burnt my finger. There's no rhyme or reason going on here, guys. I'm really just putting anything anywhere. Whatever I feel I want to do, it's what's happening here. But there's no real rhyme or reason to it. Even with the colors, they just kind of end up where they end up, and I'm okay with that. And then if I don't like it, I just won't lay it down. But I feel like I need like one little thing in the middle. But maybe I'll leave that open, and that'll be for the bet. Boom. But regardless of what you decide to do with the top portion of your hat, you know, our wreath is essentially done. And me right now, I'm just playing with additional colors and playing around with a few things. Because I'm a little extra, so sometimes just going with the colors I have doesn't work for me. I want to do more. I want to add more. Sometimes I want to put 1,000,001 bows. And I will absolutely do a bow video. If you guys want a bow video, please comment below. Bow video. But we are done with this wreath. I'm going to just do a little trimming to trim the few things off. But this wreath is done. Once we're done trimming, we'll be able to go ahead and get this put away for purchase. I am only making one of this wreath, so if you like this wreath and you would like to purchase it for yourself, I will link the link to my Etsy shop to purchase this wreath. Also, I would like to note there's several ways you can hang this wreath up. You can take your chenille stem, make a little loop, and then go to the bar that's inside and attach it to the bar. So just to kind of flip it over and show you, you could go and peel this back and find your bar and then attach the chenille to the bar. I am going to do the same bar method, but I am actually going to use the, what do they call it? Floral wire. There you go. So I'm actually going to use floral wire. It lasts longer, in my opinion. There's wire in the chenilles. That's why it's good to use those too. So it's no problem at all. I just prefer to use the floral wire. So I'm going to use the floral wire and go ahead and attach it there and make me a loop and a hoop so that it can hang up on the door. Also, you want to note all of this that's going on back here needs to go. So absolutely going to take my wire cutters and get rid of all of those chenilles, those tips, because I am not going to be scratching up on someone's door. Not at all. But again, thank you guys for joining. Tune in next week for my next tutorial. If you guys want to see a specific tutorial, please let me know. You can comment. You can email me to my email, which is on my page, or you can comment on the post that you're watching. Thank you again for tuning into my video, and I hope you guys live your crazy, beautiful life. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.